Laughter broke out, but behind that laughter was something darker. Jared Moskowitz just roasted Donald Trump over an alleged Epstein birthday doodle, and while the room was cracking up, what he exposed was no joke. Because this moment isn't just about comedy, it's about the absurd collapse of political accountability in real time.
Because, of course, he didn't find any evidence. So this morning, our close personal friend, Mr. Comer, said that he was not going to look into the letter or the doodle, the president's doodle. He's a decent doodler, by the way. So he wasn't going to look into whether the signature was a forgery, and I'm concerned about that. Because this is the President of the United States. If there are forgeries or forgers out there, I think we should investigate it. And in fact, this document is 22 years old. So you're telling me someone 22 years ago went back to the future and forged his signature when he was a Democrat. And somehow this person was Nostradamus, knew he would become a Republican, become president 22 years later. So listen, I submit to you that we can solve this problem for the American people. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take our dear personal friend, Mr. Comer's word for it. Let's bring in a signature expert. You guys pick the witnesses. Bring in your signature experts, swear them under oath, and let's have the signature examined. Is it his or it is not his? We don't have to play games or the president says it's not his, we say it's him. No, let's bring in a signature expert, a referee, because we can't agree on anything, even when it's right in our face, of whether that is indeed the president's signature, or if it's a forgery, we should immediately open up an investigation into this forgery. I think that's...
Will the gentleman yield for question?
I will have absolutely yield to my esteemed ranking member, Mr. Raskin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Moskowitz, for this point. I know that the President of the United States brought a $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal for reporting about the existence of this. He denied that it existed in any way. What is the state of that litigation? I think, wouldn't we want that resolved before we move to a handwriting expert?
Oh, sure. I mean, I assume there will be, obviously, depositions that get taken. I assume there will be production of documents. I assume as that case goes forward, they too will bring in their own expert to say it is not him. I just think, because we're in the middle of this investigation in oversight, even though, of course, this committee has jurisdiction over the DOJ and the FBI, but we all know that our chairman obviously only wants to handle, the real stuff. We give everything else to Comer. And so, I just think that rather than this drag out for weeks or months, is it his? Is it not his? Does he like to draw? Doesn't he like to draw? Right? Like, let's just get an expert in here to tell us if, and listen, I'll tell you right now, if you bring in an expert, you pick the expert, you swear him up. If that expert tells us it's not his signature, I will accept the results. I will absolutely accept the results that it's not his signature and it is absolutely a forgery. But I'm willing to bet that we won't do that. I'm willing to bet we won't do that. But prove me wrong. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman. Someone yields back.
What just happened in that room wasn't just a lighthearted exchange. It was a microcosm of the absurdity that defines American politics right now. Representative Jared Moskowitz's humor, his sarcasm, his timing, all of it served as a mirror, reflecting how far we've drifted from the seriousness of governance. He wasn't just joking about a doodle. He was using irony to highlight how political energy is being wasted on petty theatrics rather than real problems affecting people's lives. Think about what's actually happening here. Members of Congress, elected officials tasked with oversight, legislation, and accountability, were debating a doodle allegedly linked to Donald Trump in an old Epstein birthday book. The very premise sounds like satire, but it's real. Moskowitz saw that absurdity and decided to expose it in the most cutting way possible, through humor. His jokes weren't just for laughs. They were a surgical strike against the political circus that has turned American oversight hearings into viral spectacle. When he sarcastically says, "So you're telling me someone 22 years ago went back in time to forge Trump's signature when he was a Democrat," He's not just being funny. He's dismantling a pattern, this reflexive denial of basic facts whenever they threaten political comfort zones. It's a statement about how conspiracy culture has infected the highest levels of political discourse. The willingness to entertain wild narratives instead of confronting plain truths is no longer fringe, it's mainstream, and it's dangerous. Moskowitz uses wit as a weapon of truth. By inviting a signature expert, he's calling their bluff, showing the emptiness behind all that performative outrage. He's basically saying, if you're so confident in your story, prove it. Bring evidence. Let's test it. But of course, he knows they won't, because the performance matters more than the facts. That's the game now. It's not about being right, it's about appearing right, about controlling headlines and feeding base narratives that keep people distracted and divided. The laughter that breaks out isn't just about the ridiculousness of the situation, it's nervous laughter, almost cathartic. Because everyone in that room, whether they admit it or not, knows how absurd it is that a congressional hearing is discussing doodles when people across the country are struggling with issues like housing, healthcare, and basic economic security. Moskowitz's humor exposes that absurdity, making it impossible to ignore. And that's what makes this moment so potent. It's not simply about Trump or Epstein or even the doodle itself. It's about what this moment symbolizes, how far accountability and seriousness have fallen in American politics. It's about a political culture where entertainment has replaced integrity and where the loudest voices often drown out the most honest ones. Moskowitz, in his own sharp and irreverent way, was reminding everyone that truth and reason still matter, or at least they should. His commentary also touches something deeper, our collective fatigue. People are tired of the constant scandals, the endless political soap operas that lead nowhere. They're craving honesty, clarity, and a return to rational discourse. So when someone like Moskowitz cuts through the nonsense with a mix of intelligence and wit, it feels refreshing, almost rebellious. He's not afraid to call out the absurd, even if it means breaking the decorum of the room. This moment wasn't just funny, it was necessary. It was a break in the monotony of political hypocrisy, a reminder that sometimes the best way to confront a lie is with laughter, and the best way to expose absurdity is to make people laugh at it, because laughter disarms power. What Moskowitz did here wasn't just roasting Trump. It was a subtle act of defiance against a political culture that thrives on confusion and misinformation. And that's why the laughter mattered. It wasn't just amusement, it was recognition. Everyone could see how ridiculous things have become, and for a brief moment, they had to face it. So yes, it was a roast, but it was also a lesson. One about truth, accountability, and the need to bring back some sanity to political conversation. Because when a congressional hearing devolves into talk about doodles, it's not just a punchline, it's a warning. If you found that moment as revealing as it was entertaining, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Left Lens, where we don't just replay the clips, we unpack them, we challenge them, and we make sure you walk away understanding what's really at stake behind the laughter.